A very great morning to you watching Western Television, wherever you're catching the show live from. You're most welcome. And today is 25th of May 2023. We are coming to you live from the broadcast house of Western Television. My name is Denis Oringi, and we are located on Plot 39A Weather Park Lane right here in Arua City. Wherever you're catching the show live from, you're most welcome. Well, we shall be able to give you what is happening in the world of social, economic, and political, arena here in our country, Uganda. But we shall be starting from the Western sub-region, getting to actually sub-region and also Uganda at large. And we shall be giving you updates about the burial arrangement of the late Honorable Dr. Patrick Aloysius Kokoliriko, whose body yesterday arrived safely in Nebi. And so today there will be the council sitting to pay tribute to the late. And more of this, it will be later on. But before that, for those who would love to follow Western Television, you can get yourself a Zuku satellite, and we shall be enjoying ourselves on channel number 073. And those who can also afford Star Times, you can as well buy Star Time, and you'll be able to catch us live on channel 477. People have been asking, are we on the satellite for Star Time? Yes, we are on satellite, and so you can catch us anywhere you want to tune Western Television from. Whether you're in China, whether you're in Japan, you will be able to catch us live. And allow me to thank this morning the people in diaspora for always watching Western Television, because I always get the feedback that they are watching me from Singapore. And we thank you, those who always catch us outside Africa. And we do not take you for granted. And we are also looking forward to getting to the territorial channel, and I am talking about the one on antenna. The people in Kampala, majority of them do have Star Times antenna, and they are ever asking, are we on the Star Times antenna? We are moving towards that as well. Meanwhile, other platforms, we shall also get there. And allow me to tell you that we can also be viewed using, that is the YouTube page of the television. Just visit the YouTube page of Western Television. Subscribe to YouTube page, and you will be catching the show live right there. And do not forget, we are also coming to you live on our social media platform, that is Facebook for you. For those who have smartphones and you're able to log into Facebook, make sure that you like the page for Western Television, and you'll be able to get each and every update of the live events that shall be coming to your way right here on Western Television. Not forgetting those who always follow us on Twitter, we thank you very much. Make sure that you follow the Twitter handle for Western Television, and you'll be able to get each and every update on time right there for you. 27 minutes past 7 a.m. right here on Western Television. Let's dive into some of the local stories we have prepared for you this morning. You have to know that following the recent spate of misuse of guns in the hands of the security personnel in the country, the Deputy Inspector General of Police, Major General Tumusiime Geoffrey, has urged the security personnel in Western sub-region to be disciplined and find harmonious ways of solving problems, if at all there are problems. And so the Deputy IGP Geoffrey, before meeting the senior police officers from Western sub-region, first had the inspection of the different departments of Arua Police, including the regional offices that are providing police services to the region. Let's have more on this from the pictures and the communication that has been made by the Deputy Inspector General of Police, Major General Tumusiime Geoffrey. All right, that is the Deputy Inspector General of Police right there. And if my producer can really allow the pictures to be playing over there. And so that is Police Health Center 3 here in Arua. And those are the staff working at Police Health Center 3. And remember, Police Health Center 3 has got a doctor who is a police officer. And he is a gentleman who will be, who has been taking through the Deputy Inspector General Police. So let's hear from him.
How we as police are performing. It is reviewing the security situation, reviewing how we perform, and seeing how we can be better. Generally, that was why we are here. Yes, the security situation here, from the little I have learned so far and from the reports, the security situation is good. It's not as problematic as other regions. They used to have, in Arua, they used to have some of these youth who were engaged in crime. But over time, it has been scaled down. Now the general situation is low, as compared to, for instance, these other incidents that are happening, where we are having security forces even killing members of the public. That has not happened here. But even in those areas where there has been a number of crimes ongoing, police and other agencies have managed to contain them. And we are now coming this region to look at how are they handling, especially given that this region borders with two countries, DRC and South Sudan. We also want to look at the influx of the refugees. What is the effect on the crime patterns, and how best can police handle? And of course, we need to look at the challenges facing police itself, the police welfare. We have been touring the offices. We've looked at how squeezed they are. Then accommodation, it's not enough. These are things we are going to take back so that we come back, we ensure that we construct for them better facilities. We've looked at the mobility of the police force itself, again limited, but we're going to appeal to our leaders to ensure that this region that is bordering two of our neighboring countries must have priority, must be given priority in terms of manpower, in terms of welfare of the police, in terms of mobility of the force. So I hope by the end of this meeting, we'll have looked at the challenges and how to solve them. By the end of, we're spending in this region 2 to 3 days. We are here now in Arua, going to Ajumani, Moyo, and all those regions, those districts, again to look at the security situation and how to improve it.
That is the Deputy Inspector General of Police, Major General Geoffrey Tumusime, for you right there. So yesterday, after inspecting the different sectors at Arua Police Station, he was able to have the meeting with the senior police officers from West Nile region, from the district of Pakwash, Nebi, Zombo, the Madiokolo, Arua district, Terego, not forgetting that is Arua City, Marasha, Koboko, and also that is Terego. And so the police police officers were able to converge here in Arua City in the morning, and then in the afternoon he was able to have the meeting with other leaders, including that is the security agencies that we do have in this Western sub-region, especially the senior officers, discussing how can we curb the crime rate in our region, West Nile. And so I believe that the senior police officers will be able to communicate back to the junior officers who could not be able to have the meeting with the Deputy Inspector General of Police right there. Whenever we have got information, let us be able to share the information. It's quite unfortunate that some of us, especially some of us who have gone to school, once we have been given the information, we tend to be swell around that, you know, I was able to meet the Deputy Inspector General of Police. And so you swell to the junior officers instead of telling the junior officers what you were able to discuss, so that they get to understand what is happening in this region, what is happening in the country. It's quite unfortunate if we do not share information with our colleagues. And so it makes it very hard for us to work together and understand the situation. So I believe the senior police officers who happened to meet the Deputy Inspector General of Police, you will be able to share the information with those officers who could not really have the time to meet the Deputy Inspector General of Police, including those leaders from different, you know, sister security organizations that we do have, the WISO, the DISO, the GISOs, and also the resident city commissioners and also the resident district commissioners. You will be able to share the information. I've been told that the area member of parliament for Arua Central Division was also in attendance because his area, and that is the Central Division of Arua City, seems to be having a lot of wrong elements who always terrorize the people. Remember, recently police was able to recover a gun here in the city after a security guard was shot dead while he was on duty. And so plus other pocketing that is very rampant in Arua City. And for those who are coming to Arua City, you have to be very careful in the night, even during daytime, because I've even witnessed you know, scenarios where some young men riding on motorcycles grabbing people's bag and also, you know, stopping you and removing whatever you have, and you have to move just like that. I know of a spot in the city center that I cannot move during daytime. There are some corridors that we have to avoid, and for those who come from rural areas to come and purchase things here in Arua City, never allow somebody to take you through corridors. Those are wrong elements. You might go there to buy what you want to buy, but the person is going to tell you, we do not have it here, we have it behind, let's go behind. And they do it after realizing that you have money on you. And if you take that step of going behind, you will meet some wrong elements who will really be teasing you with knife like they want to take your life, and you will choose between giving your money and giving your life to them. And you find that people end up giving their money instead of giving their life. And what happens when they report to police, the response is always very poor. I can remember it happened to me. I was you know, terribly robbed here in Arua City, and I reported the case. Up to now, I am still waiting whether those culprits have been arrested or not. And so we have to be very careful. They always say that the security starts with you. It is you to be conscious of your security. Who are you walking with? Who is walking in front of you? Who is walking beside you? And who is walking behind you? You should always have your senses on to detect and deter crime that is about to be committed on you. And so let us be vigilant, and I urge the security personnel, please, I know you are going through challenges, but sometimes once a case has been reported, let us respond with all the zeal that we have for our work, because you chose to work. So you have to always, you know, accord somebody all the necessary assistance that the person requires for him or her to be helped right there. Away from the issues to do with the security and police, let's get to actually sub-region where Amuro District Local Government, in collaboration with the Trademark Africa, with the funding from that is Danish Embassy, is planning to build a very big market at Ilego Town Council, being a cross-border market between Uganda and South Sudan. Over 2,000 traders who were evacuated from South Sudan in 2016 of the civil war are facing tough time, operating in a poor hygienic condition with the fear of flood attack at any time. Stephen Okello was able to go to illegal border point, and he reports on this particular story of the plan to have the magnificent illegal border market. Let's have more on this.
At the entrance of illegal market, you are welcome with a bird smell as you glimpse at the lake of waterlogging near a line of tomatoes and vegetables being sold in the market.
We face a lot of challenges here. Water will be too much, no any business, just sit there. Even those casas will just enter into this thing of ours.
Inside the market, those selling grains are sitting as others take naps near waterlogging as they wait for customers. According to Margaret Aguma, those women have been operating in this condition since 2016, when most of them have been evacuated from South Sudan at the peak of the civil war.
In the current market, we have over 2,000 women trading there. The current status of the market is really pathetic, in that once it rains, these women have got to know where to trade from, because the water comes and floods up to wherever they have displayed their goods for sale.
Today, Michael Lacon, the chairman of Amur District local government, paid a visit to the market with some good news: the construction of a new market.
This came to our rescue through the Trademark Africa that secured the funding from Denis Embassy of Denmark. And indeed, in the funding, they will in the first phase be in position to build for us a market that is standard and raised out, whereby the traders will never be in position to put their goods on the ground.
Anda Namboze, the country director Trademark Africa, an entity entrusted by Amuro District local government to oversee the construction of this new market, explained how the new market will address the challenge of waterlogging and flood which have been disturbing this market for years.
In order to make the market safe, because Elego is a flood-prone area, we're going to raise half of the acreage we've been given, about 6 acres, to about 2.5 meters above the normal ground level, so that it can be flood-proof. But also there's a lot of other, engineering, channeling of water and so on, and drainages that are going to be done around the market to ensure that the market this does not become flooded.
Ilego Town Council sits across Uganda and South Sudan border. It was established in 2012. This business hub was hit many times by water flood, which have been affecting the business, and the construction of a modern market with a clear mitigation measure on flood have been among the major cry of these businessmen and women. Stephen Okello for West Nile Television, Nilecast.
All right, thank you very much, Stephen Okello, for that story. And I know that this is a very big news for the people of Elegu, and also the people of Amuro, and also the people of northern Uganda, because we do have a number of people who always go and trade at Elegu, those from Amuro, those from Jumani, and even those from Moyo. Some of us from Arua also, we have our stalls in Elegu, because it is one of the busiest border points that we have in the northern part of Uganda, and people are making killings right there. The killing I'm meaning here is not shooting somebody dead or hacking somebody on his head, but getting a lot of money for your life to improve, getting a lot of money from your business. And so if this market is constructed, I believe it will even change the face of illegal border point, and this will really spark development in the region. We only just pray that the war in South Sudan should not really continue, and also nothing should really happen in northern Uganda, as it was the case in 1990s. And for those who have never gone through war, let us not pray for war to really affect us in this country, Uganda. And that's one of the achievements that I boast of from the government of the Republic of Uganda: peace and security. I think it is at its peak. Yesterday I was able to go back home late simply because of peace and security, because I had time to sit and relax a bit. It's not easy to work from morning up to sunset, and so you need some time to rest. And in this country, you can go and sit wherever you want to sit, and nobody's going to ask for your kibali. A kibali I'm talking about here IDs. I have never been asked of my ID since I got a national identity card, and I was telling my colleague what is now the use of the national ID, apart from maybe using it for job application and also when you want to travel outside this country. But if you're within this country, let me tell you, and you're a peace-loving person, nobody will disturb you. But if you're not a peace-loving person, then you will be asked of your ID. And so Uganda is so peaceful, and I believe that with the peace that we are enjoying now, this illegal border point market will be constructed, and it will really serve a great deal to the people of Amoro district and to the people of South Sudan, more especially those that are trading at the border point. Away from that, you have to know that Stanbic Bank has organized a private sector dialogue today, and this private sector dialogue will be taking place at Desert Breeze right in Arua City, and these specifically targets that is the Western Regional Entrepreneurs and Contractors through the association that is called Western Regional Entrepreneurs and Contractors Association. This is to engage the different contractors that we do have in the Western sub-region on how they can really tap on the opportunities that Stanbic Bank has got for them. And so if you have been facing challenges in securing some funding to help you support the project that you're undertaking, maybe with the government of the Republic of Uganda, maybe with the NGOs, let me tell you, the dialogue will be able to help you get answers to some of the questions that you have been really facing in as far as execution of your work is concerned, more especially in the world of construction and also the distributors that we do have in Western Sub-region. Let's hear from that is the station, that's the branch manager, Stanbic Bank Arua, and that's none other than Omaru, who will be speaking on this particular private sector dialogue that is going to take place right this morning here in Arua City. Let's have more on this.
Which we think that when we partner with them, and if you look at the theme, partnering for what? For growth. Yeah, if we partner with them, understand them, we're able to come up with something better, because transforming their lives is at the center of what the bank does. As much as we are speaking to contractors, we're also having the distributors. They are invited for this forum. And we're looking at contractors, distributors, all the way from Adjumani to Bakwachi, West Nile. So if you're someone out there dealing in wholesale business, you are into distributorship of probably cement, beverages, and all that, you are welcome. If you supply anything, you are welcome for this event. And we believe that it will tackle the needs and the pains of the business community. Because at the end of the day, you open shop to make a profit. And the lineup that we have for tomorrow's forum, we have our colleagues from the head office. We have a specialist who actually, I would call that the head of distributor financing, who will be there tomorrow to speak to our business community. We have the expert power infrastructure will be there to talk to the community as well, to the contractor. We have an expert from vehicle and asset financing, because we believe that all this move together. We have other leaders from business, Stanbic Bank that will be here to talk to us. The other bit that we've done differently is having Uganda Registration Services Bureau to be with us tomorrow, because we believe that there is quite a lot they have to share with our contractors and the business community, so that they're able to put their businesses right. And then the surprise from someone from URA to talk about what is it that the contractor need to do, because we've had scenarios where demand notices are given and people are challenging here and there. So we believe it to be an opportunity at least to have all these people in one house to add value to our contractors.
All right, dear viewer, you have heard from the branch manager, Stanbic Bank Arua, that is none other than Umaru, who has given details about the private sector dialogue that will be taking place this morning. But away from Arua City, let's get to Nebi district. You have to know that yesterday thousands of mourners in the evening turned up in big numbers to welcome the body of the late Dr. Patrick Aloysius Okomoringa, led by trumpeters. The body carried in the A+ funeral service van was taken straight to the Nebi Cathedral for Requiem Mass. Nebi Catholic Cathedral for Requiem Mass. The body spent the night at his home in Yukia, where people were able to really stay for a vigil right there. And today there will be joint council sitting to pay tribute to the late, and the burial will take place tomorrow. We have our reporter in Nebi, Frederick Dramadri. A very great morning to you. Thank you very much for joining us this morning. We want to find out more from you about the preparations for the burial of late Dr. Patrick Aloysius Okomoringa that has been communicated to be tomorrow in Nebi. Since yesterday you were in Nebi, you were able to witness how the body was welcomed, and you attended the Requiem Mass. You were able to listen to different communications that were really made by different leaders, and today there will be council sitting. Give us some brief about what is taking place on ground in regards to the burial of late Professor, that is late Dr. Patrick Aloysius Okomoringa right there.
Yes, good morning, Dennis. Here it is really a sorrowful moment in the Greater Nebi. First of all, if you look at the person whom we are going to bury, this has been an instrumental person to the entire Greater Nebi people. First of all, when I arrived here at around midday, I realized that most of the shops were closed. I asked myself why this was like that. Actually, the answers I got from people was that this has been one person who actually was the person who nurtured most of these businessmen who were in this town. And from since morning up to around 1 was the time when all these business people within Nebi municipality and those from other parts of this country gathered at the Raja. Yes, the place is called Raja, but most people know it as Rinka Foundation Industrial Area. They gathered there. They were for meetings since morning up to around 1. I had an interview with the Central Organizing Committee chairperson. He actually clearly told me that the State House has said they have no contribution towards this burial. They will only come and attend just like any other person, meaning that the business community here are entirely going to facilitate this burial. If you look at some of the issues that came up from this, especially from the family members, their cry is the hospital bills that have been left since their father died. They are talking about 150 million Ugandan shillings that has not been offset as of now. And then secondly, they are appealing to government, first of all, to also give back their money that was remaining in the contract, where the late supplied some motorcycles to government.
The motor vehicles, yeah, the Peugeot vehicles.
Yes. The money has not been released. Actually, how much it is, they did not mention, but they said it is already there in the contract. The government knows about it. The body actually arrived here in Nebi at around 4 p.m. There were a lot of people who gathered, not only within Greater Nebi, but there were so many West Nilers from Kampala who drove and escorted this body. If you look at the state, the only state van that you will see is the one of the RDC. Maybe, I don't know if this is because this has been now an ex-MP and as somebody who served in the ministry for some time and has left for long. I don't know, that is what we don't understand, but we could not ask about that. At the Requiem Mass, There were no speeches made because now it was late.
Okay.
And we expect speeches to be coming from the council sitting. And there are a lot of things that the council has put forth that they want to at least agree on. One of this is to name a road. 2 is to have at least one of the children taken up by the council to a certain stage. Maybe if you look at the family itself, there are 3 widows that are at home currently, and then around 13 children who are still alive. So where the body will be buried is on Zukia Hill. I went there and I saw they were still preparing some of the they were still preparing the grave. That's because there was no fund at first. People thought it was going to be the state to take up the preparations at that site, but now, since there was no communication about this, the business community thought they started now contributing some of these materials. As of now, they are still building the grave. Then we have the council sitting starting at around 10 a.m. So we'll be waiting to see what will be coming in the council sitting as other things move on. And business has still been paralyzed at the moment, but we're waiting to see what will be developing after this. Yes.
Do you suspect any move by the council to prepare one of the sons for any political position in Nebi or in any of the districts in Nebi, in Greater Nebi?
As of now, they have not. Nobody has talked about it, but I saw a number of border borders putting on some names that are already written on their backs. But we could not now pronounce them because those are still unofficial.
So are you telling us that there are some people who are trying to hijack this situation of the burial of late Patrick Kokoliriko for their political ambition and their political selfishness?
Sorry?
Are you trying to tell us that there are some people who are trying to hijack this situation to promote their political agenda?
Of course, in Uganda, as of now, any death is an opportunity for another person. So once I leave this position where I am, it is a vacancy. Definitely somebody has to come in. So those might be coming up, but we'll wait to see if this is true. Whatever they were putting on were really for someone, and whether somebody is advocating, we'll see in 2026.
Okay.
Yes.
I don't want to talk politics this morning, and I don't want to ask you any political question this morning. Let us first mourn the death of late Patrick Aloysius Kokoliriko. Then we shall talk politics afterwards.
All right, thank you very much, man.
You're welcome. Thank you very much, Frederick Dramadri, for speaking to us this morning from Nebi. And he is our foot soldier right now in Nebi, trying to get each and every information and put it right. And do not forget, at exactly 7 p.m. in the evening, we shall be able to have full details of what is taking place in Nebi in regards to the burial of the late Dr. Patrick Aloysius Kokoliriko. Remember, the official burial will be tomorrow. Today there will be council sitting as communicated by that is Frederick Dramadri, one of our reporters who is in Nebi. We do appreciate you very much. Thank you very much for speaking to us. And dear viewer, that is what we can give you this morning in regards to the burial arrangement for the late that is Patrick Aloysius Kokoliriko, who was the former member of parliament for Padira County, Nebi district, and also the state minister for public service general duties right there. If I am to read his CV, then I need another 1 hour to be added by the management of Western Television just for today only. And if my producer can also okay me to read the profile of the late, and then it will be okay. But if they cannot allow me because of other business, program, catch me at exactly 7 p.m. with the full details of the profile of the late Patrick Aloysius Okumoringa right there. Who he was and what kind of work did he do before he really passed on right there. 1 minute to 8 a.m. right on Western Television. Thank you very much this morning. It is Kokoliriko Live. It's a program that comes away every Monday through Friday, and today is Thursday, 25th of May 2023. My name is Denis Oringi. Let's go for a break, and we still have more for you after the break. Good morning.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
More for less on Star Times this Easter season. Cartoon channel for best children entertainment. New global series. Local drama on Mercula TV and football all around the world. Simply make weekly or monthly subscription and enjoy upgrade to the next bouquet. For classic or super bouquet customers, subscribe for a month and enjoy 5 days extra. Family time with Star Times. Star Times is regulated by UCC.
Ministry of Health will conduct yellow fever preventive mass vaccination campaign for all persons aged 9 months up to 60 years. These people should have never been vaccinated against yellow fever. The yellow fever campaign will be conducted in phases, with the first phase covering districts in the regions of Arua, Guru, Lira, Kabare, Kabarore, and Hoima. The campaign will begin on the 9th of June and end on the 13th of June 2023 and will be conducted in all government health facilities and outreach posts. All parents and caregivers are requested to take their children aged 9 months to the nearest health facility and outreach posts to get vaccinated against yellow fever disease. All adults aged up to 60 years but have never been vaccinated should go to health facilities and vaccination outreach posts to get vaccinated against yellow fever. Ministry of Health calls upon everybody to report any person who presents with signs and symptoms such as yellowing of eyes, fever, headache, muscle pain, feeling of vomiting or nausea, vomiting, and general body weakness or fatigue to the nearest health facility or health worker immediately for medical attention. This could be yellow fever. Yellow fever vaccine is a single dose given once in a lifetime. The yellow fever vaccine is safe, effective, and free. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Health with support from Gavi and partners.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
A very great morning to you. Thank you very much for joining us this morning once again. For those who have just tuned in, you have to know that you're watching Western Television Kokoliriko. It's a program that comes to you every Monday through Friday, early in the morning from the hour of 7 a.m. up to 9 a.m. in the morning with me, Denis Oringi. And allow me to let you know that we shall be getting into what we have in the dailies today, the Daily Monitor and the New Vision. These are the two major papers that one can rely on in our country, Uganda. And as from this side of West Nile, the papers sometimes reach late, around midday, but it's important that you should be able to get the highlights from Western Television so that you get acquainted to what is taking place in our country, Uganda, right there. Mob lynches man for killing his mother is also another story that has featured here. And then you have to know that Prince Harry loses a bid to challenge UK government over security is another story that you need to know, that Prince Harry has lost an attempt to challenge the UK government over his security arrangements while in the UK, according to a ruling published on Tuesday. Right there, Harry and his wife Meghan lost their UK taxpayer paid protection when they quit frontline royal duties in 2020 and moved to North America. The couple have their own private security team in the United States, but Harry says they do not have adequate jurisdiction or access to UK intelligence to keep his family safe when they are in the United Kingdom. And so the prince non-formally asked the Duke of Sussex, had been asking for a legal review of a decision refusing him permission to pay for the UK security himself. And so lawyers for the Interior Ministry urge that it was not appropriate for wealthy people to buy protective security when it had decided that it was not in the public interest, for such protection to be paid for by the taxpayer. And London's Metropolitan Police also opposed Harry's offer on the ground that it would be wrong to place officers in harm's way upon payment of a fee by a private individual right there. And so that is one of the news that is trending in United Kingdom in regards to security protocol for Prince Harry right there, as he has lost it already. Okay, Makerere students protest after water taps ran dry for 2 weeks. This is at Makerere University. And this is something that you need to know, that residents of Makerere University, Livingston Hall on Wednesday protested a water crisis that has hit their residents for close to a fortnight, 2 weeks without water. How are they defecating, since most of the facilities there do use water? It's quite unfortunate right there. Excuse me. And so the students marched through the university, banging saucepans and jerrycans up to the office of the university secretary, who reportedly say he had not been alerted about the water crisis but promised to have it sorted in 2 days. So let's wait today and tomorrow whether this water crisis at Makerere University will be sorted by the administration of the university is what we wait for. That is the action that will be taken by the administration of Makerere University. Trial of 2 notorious boda killers deferred. It's also another thing that you need to know here, that Masaka City Cemetery turned into garden, and I do not know the one for Arua whether the cemetery is still serving, but the one in Masaka has turned to be a garden. We are talking about the cemetery in Masaka, and so the Masaka City Public Cemetery has been turned into a garden, leaving the city without a gazetted place where to bury unclaimed bodies. And I think this is also the same problem that we have here in Arua. I have not heard the council discussing another proposed land that can be used for burying unclaimed bodies. Remember, the current one seems to be full. I have ever witnessed people being buried at the public cemetery that we have here in Arua at Niva. Once they just dig, you'll find that they get bones of human persons, and the grave is not all that deep as it is the case with other burials that we have been witnessing. So I think this is a very big challenge, not only to Masaka City, also to Arua City here. I do not know what discussion they're having, whether they have identified a piece of land that can be turned to be a public cemetery for burying unclaimed bodies. Remember, there are people who are being killed and their relatives are not known, and so it becomes easier for the police and also the city authority to really bury such persons before somebody comes to claim the body. And so what are we supposed to do? We need to identify the land. And so this challenge goes to the city authority, not only the Masaka City Authority. I think this is a very big one. And so you have to know that the Kamiram Pango Cemetery, located on Masaka bypass at the Kasijagirwa village in Kimanya Komonera division, currently sits on approximately 3 acres of land, and that is in Masaka. The one of Arua, I do not know acres of land that cemetery sits on. I do not know. I need to find out the exact measurement for that case. This also comes back to us as individuals. I have seen this, I've witnessed this, that we pay little attention to our cemeteries that we do have at our homes. We don't care of really even cleaning the cemetery. You find that the cemetery is bushy, nobody cares to really weed around. It is important that we take care of such places. If you want to know the importance of cemetery, go to Asholi sub-region where people are fighting over the land. They will ask you, who have you buried here? Do you have any evidence of of a grave that you can really show to us that this land was occupied by you for a great grandfather? And so if you do not have that, it becomes a little bit very complicated. And so once we are burying people, we have to put that at the back of our mind, that we are not just burying this particular person, but we are burying this person that in future this will be evidence that our father, our grandfather, our fathers used to stay here. And so if you think that you can joke around with the graveyard, let me tell you, you will never run away from haunting from those spirits. They also do listen, and they also stay with us. And so if you don't take care of them, they will disturb you. But because of belief that we now currently have in the religious belief that we do have, more especially in Christianity, such things are not now happening in our community. But in the past, I can testify to you that I had known of people that they were disturbed by their relatives who passed on, and nobody could really pay attention to the graveyard where they have been buried. And so we have to take care of these graveyards because our loved ones have been buried there. And so we have to show care, even if they are not with us, but they are with us in spirit. And that is what we always believe, that the dead are not dead. And so that is something that you need to know. Busolwa hospital cleaners on strike over salary arrears is also another story that we do have in the Daily Monitor today. And then also 135 people murdered in Ankole, Kigezi in 3 months. And so within 3 months, 135 people have been killed in Ankole and Kigezi region right there. Let's get to inside the Museveni's 18th page. That is concerning the issues to do with the ban on shako business. The Turkana pastorists who have been accused of killing Ugandan geologists, and Museveni has asked Kenya to hand over Turkana pastoralists accused of killing Ugandan geologists right there. President Museveni has asked the Kenyan government to hand over to Uganda Turkana warriors accused of killing 3 geologists and 2 UPDF soldiers in the restive Karamoja Rab region in March last year. In an 18-page executive order made public on Wednesday yesterday, President Museveni said that any Turkana pastoralist crossing to Uganda with a gun would be charged with terrorism. And this is another serious issue here. Quoting from what he has written, it says, I have issued executive order number 3 of 2023 under the powers given to the president by Article 99, subsection 2 of the 1995 Constitution of the Republic of Uganda. They cover the anti-cattle rustling efforts in northeastern Uganda, the damage to the environment by the shako business, the damage caused by the indisciplined nomads known as Balalo, casting the Uganda police force into a Uganda-wide police instead of being a Kampala police, and the problem of the Turkana nomads. Allow me to read for you the verbatim the executive order that has been signed by President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni in regards to this, and it was written on 19th of May 2023. This executive order issued under the powers given to the president by Article 99, subsection 2 of the 1995 Constitution will cover the anti-cattle rustling efforts in north and northeastern Uganda, the damage to the environment by the shako business, the damage caused by the indisciplined nomads known as Balalo, recasting the Uganda police force into a Uganda-wide police instead of being a Kampala police, and the problem of the Turkana nomads. Cattle rustling has been endemic in the part of the north and the whole of the northeast ever since the colonial times. In meetings with Acholi leaders recently, Muse Okwera, former NRC member, informed the meeting that by 1954, the Karamojong cattle rustlers were already active in his area. By 1965, my cousin Kongenyerezo, who had been recruited into the Uganda prisons and posted somewhere in Karamoja, came to visit us at Ntare and proudly told us about his heroic gun battles together with his colleagues against Karamojong cattle rustlers. We envied him so much and longed for the time we could master the gun. I am reading what President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni wrote verbatim. Where were the Karamojong getting the guns from? Is a question that he has asked in his executive order. We were told that they were getting the guns from Abyssinia, where every man owned a gun. These gun-thirsty thieves were greatly boosted by the political instability of the country. When together with the Tanzanians we defeated Idi Amin, the TPDF, who were the main actors, took long to capture Moroto barracks. Hence, for days, the Karamojong of the Menteniko clan helped themselves on all the guns in the store, many of them automatic AK-47, submachine guns different from the SARs, semi-automatic rifles they had been getting from Abyssinia. The Menteniko, in alliance with the Turkana of Kenya, imposed great suffering on, especially the Bokora clan of Napak. The other clans raced to balance the equation by buying guns from different sources. The Karamojong clans, apart from fighting among themselves, they also invaded the neighbors in Acholi, Lao, Teso, Bugishu, and Sebei. And then in 1985, as the NRA was advancing to capture Kampala, the Okelos thought the Karamojong rustlers could help them to stop the NRA. They brought some of them to Mitiana, where the NRA 5th Battalion of Kashaka and Kasilingi destroyed them. The remnants fled without looking back up to Karamoja. The Okelos had promised them the reward of raiding the Banyankore cows all the way to the Tanzanian border. They did not get time to bury their head. They are dead. And so when the NRA captured Kampala on 26th of January 1986, we were determined to end the rustler nonsense in Uganda. I deployed a massive force of the NRA, including the 1st Battalion led by heroic Mugisha Karampenga. Big battles that took place with the rustlers, including the one of Nabila Tuk, where Commander Mugisha was wounded. A lot of rustlers were killed. Cattle rustling would have been ended that time. Udong Latek and other former UNLA's attacked battalion, number 28 of the Jet Mwebaze at Bibia 28th Battalion repulsed the attack, but the Lakwena Kony rebellion supported by Islamic governments of Sudan had begun. We had to abandon the disarming of Karamoja to concentrate on defeating the UNLA counter-terrorist offensive supported by Sudan that made the heavily harmed Karamojang cattle rustlers to even penetrate areas like Apache, Ngora, and even Palisa, where they had never been before. The Lakwena Kony Sudan supported war was finally won in 2003 when we defeated Kony and Oti decisively, and they fled to Galamba in Congo, and Sudan broke up into two countries, north and south. And so the time had come now to disarm the Karamojong rustlers. The effort was supported by many peace-loving groups in Karamoja, such as the women, the elders, the churches. The disarmament proper started in the year 2004. And so 41,000 rifles were collected from the rustlers. Those who tried to fight were destroyed. And for even those who tried to hide in Mount Murulongole, Karamoja became totally peaceful. The disarming had been done by the 3rd Division and the 5th Division. In order to get the magnitude of the guns collected from the Karamojong warriors, you should be informed that the Uganda Army by 1971, before Amin's coup d'etat, was 8,000 persons, and that of Idi Amin by 1979 was 20,000 persons. The Karamojong had 41,000 rifles. You can see the danger to that area. However, disarming using army divisions had some negative consequences. In infantry division is supposed to be a fighting force with the support weapons in controversial wars if they occur. However, those anti-cattle rustling operations had turned 2 of our infantry divisions into Kokoliriko forces guarding kraals in some, in small groups endlessly, following rustlers on foot. What happens if there is a big war in the region, like when we had to support the government of South Sudan to defeat the offensives of the White Army, Riek Machar's forces on Juba in 2013? Those scattered groups cannot that. cannot do that in South Sudan. We use a brigade of 4th Division, commandos, tanks, Moy, and artillery. At least a 5th Division had to concentrate and train. However, to cater for that is the possible resurgence of the indiscipline, I ordered the commanders to henceforth build reinforced divisions, by putting 5th brigades in a division instead of the usual 3. And so you can read these in regards to what President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, wrote in his, 18 pages executive order right there. But let me make for you a summary. I wanted to show for you that I am not reading my own document, but I'm reading a document that has been written and signed by President of the Republic of Uganda, termed to be the executive order that is number 3 of 2023. And so in March 2022, security forces in Moroto district in a mineral-rich sub-region in northeastern Uganda recovered 5 bodies belonging to the 3 geologists attached to Ministry of Energy and Minerals Development and 2 Uganda People's Defense Forces soldiers who were attacked by suspected cattle rustlers. The geologists, one of whom was an intern identified as Adna Musime from Makerere University, are said to have been attacked and killed alongside their 2 UPDF escorts on March 21st, 2022 as they conducted mineral mapping in the area. And so the other victims were identified as Richard Kigwe, the lead geologist, and his colleague Charles Olweny. The UPDF officers are yet to be identified. And so you have to know here that the president also banned charcoal, banning and trade, especially in northern Uganda. I am interested in this banning of charcoal trade in northern Uganda, and if I can really move to have this read verbatim, it will be a very nice one out of this executive order that President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni has really written in regards to this. So you have to know here that concerning the issue of charcoal business in northern Uganda, we did see that is the former legislator, Odonga Oto, taking the lead to show to the people in Uganda that yes, we can conserve our environment and we can really protect our environment if all of us play our role to see that we really get rid of these persons who are found of who are found of cutting down trees in our areas. And so on the issue of Balalo, he says here that idea for completely ban the illegal presence of Balalo in northern Uganda districts. I can remember in 2021, I beg to be corrected, the Prime Minister of the Republic of Uganda, Right Honorable Robin Anabanja, was able to come to West Nile, meeting West Nile leaders in Pakwash. Later on, he was able to proceed to Ashole sub-region, also meeting the local leaders on the issues to do with Balalo, and there were, deadline that was given to the Balalo. I do not know why we still have them, being discussed here at this particular time. What happened to that order that President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni gave? And yet, before giving the order, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni was able to assign the Prime Minister of the Republic of Uganda, Right Honorable Robin Anabanja, to move in these areas that have been affected by the Balalo and listen from the leaders and really communicate a government position on the issue of Balalo. President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni has repeated it still this time around in his executive order number 3 of 2023, and he says idea for completely ban the illegal presence of Balalo in the northern Uganda, mark the word illegal. And so there are those who are legally staying in northern Uganda and there are those who are illegally staying in this country. He is wise when it comes to choice of word or diction. For those who study literature, you understand what I'm talking about here. And so idea for completely ban the illegal presence of Balalo in the northern Uganda districts. This does not mean that the Balalo, like other Ugandans, cannot buy land and settle in northern Uganda. However, on account of the 2 mistakes above, that right cannot be enjoyed by the authority of this executive order. No Mulalo should settle and bring cattle to northern Uganda except with the permission of the Minister of Lands and the Minister of Agriculture. Those ministers can only give that permission if the 2 problems are addressed. I therefore direct all government agencies to ensure that these Balalo are expelled from the indicated areas by the end of June 2023. And this is the executive order from the President of the Republic of Uganda, His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. And I am waiting for the implementation of this executive order, because this is not the first time that President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni has been giving the executive order in regards to the Balalo that we have in this region. And so the Attorney General should also bring a draft of a law criminalizing criminalizing nomadism. A wrongdoer could serve 7 years in prison for bringing cattle to northern Uganda illegally. The Attorney General to also provide for the confiscation of the cattle of the Balalo involved in entering the indicated areas illegally. And so that is what you need to know. Finally, the issue of Turkana. This is another destabilizing factor. On account of our Pan-Africanist ideology, we have allowed our Turkana brothers and sisters to settle in Karamoja around the Kobebe Dam, where the problem of water has been solved. However, in Kenya, they have not carried out disarmament. That is their issue. However, long ago, I ordered these Turkanas to never bring guns in Uganda. They should just come and graze their cattle, minus being armed. They, however, do not listen to this. Instead, they raid our disarmed Karamojong, kill people, rape, etc. They are said to have raided 2,245 cattle from the JE. They killed our 3 geologists, 1 officer and a soldier that were guarding them. I now direct that this Turkana nonsense must stop. Hence, the following steps must be taken. 1. The Turkana must never come to Uganda with guns. Anybody who does so must be arrested and charged with terrorism by a court-martial. The killers of the geologists must be handed to us for trial for murder. The guns were handed back to the government of Uganda, but not the killers. In the alternative, the killers, with the coordination of the governments of Kenya and Uganda, should Kukaraba blood settlement, Matoput in Asholi, to the families of the deceased. The price of the Kukaraba or Matoput cannot be the traditional one of a few cows. It must be adjusted to full value of what the deceased would have contributed in his or her life, which life was cut short by those criminals. Through the coordination of the governments of Kenya and Uganda, the Turkana must bring back the victim communities the number of cattle equal to the cattle they stole from them. Here caution should be exercised because our own people could not be exaggerating the numbers. In order to ease the task of cattle identification, the Kenya government and Uganda government should coordinate on cattle branding to show district and sub-county of their respective cattle populations. I give the Turkana population 6 months to implement my directives. If, however, the issue of the guns illegally entering Uganda, the handover of the criminals who killed our geologists, or the use of the traditional justice and return of the stolen cattle are not resolved, I will have an alternative but to expel all the Kenyan Turkanas and their cattle, and they will never be allowed to re-enter Uganda with their cattle. Signed by President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, the President, His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. And so that is something that you need to know in regards to what we are talking about here. Somebody has just written to me that I should be able to read issues to do with the shaku, banning in northern Uganda. What did President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni say in regards to shaku banning? He says the corruption of some elements in the security forces in northern Uganda is not only shameful and discrediting the UPDF and other security groups and government agencies, but is a danger to the environment. One form of corruption is in the phenomenon of the shackle business. The people in charge of the environment and forestry allow this destructive business to go on massively. Apparently, armed people escort this shackle. Where are these armed guards coming from? Who is providing them? That question must be answered. All the same, I have now decided to ban all shackle banning and trade in northern and northeast Uganda, Karamoja, Teso, Lango, Asholi, and West Nile. I am happy here. West Nile has been included. So these shackle banners and traders are so bankrupt that they even cut the famous shea butter trees known as Ya in Asholi. As a consequence, the locals now hold the security people in great contempt. In order to save the environment and also the reputation of the NRM, I therefore hereby ban the cutting of trees for shackle banning. However, without greed, shackle banning could assist ranching. How? Part of the problem of ranching are tickets and shaka, unwanted and unuseful trees. These and shaka tickets would be compromised by kayukyuki. These are Kamara lantana. And Tombodopo, and also aggressive trees like Obugando, Obusana, Acacia, Hohi. And so in symbiotic arrangements, farmers in the West engage charcoal burners to clear the thickets and unwanted trees, such as the acacia hohohi, and convert the cut trees into charcoal that they sell. You end up with well-cleared farms that retain the good shade trees, such as albizia, which is also nitrogen fixing, etc. Those who did agriculture, you understand what we are talking about nitrogen fixing here. However, under the ban I have imposed, it must only be the Minister of Environment, on the recommendation of the resident district commissioners, that will authorize that symbiotic charcoal burning in the area I have indicated. And for that case, West Nile does not qualify for this symbiotic charcoal burning, because we have cleared those trees, the tickets that President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni is referring to. Start driving right from Pakwash up to Arua, you will not get these tickets we are talking about here, meaning that in other areas, these tickets do exist. And so that is something that I can really tell you this morning in regards to the executive order that has been signed by the President of the Republic of Uganda in regards of what is taking place in Uganda. And so I am waiting for the implementation. The executive order has been written in a very simple English that can be understood by a P4 liver and also a P3 liver who studied around 1990s up to 2003, but after 2003 it is very hard for a P3 liver to read something in English, and so that is how we have gotten it wrong with our education system in this country. And so that is something that you need to know. A Member of Parliament Adeke to reintroduce the sexual offences bill to Parliament of the Republic of Uganda. Iron Sheets saga, Members of Parliament pin 3 ministers in regards to the Iron Sheets saga. And so allow me to have that, because it was a hot cake in this country, Uganda, talking about the Iron Sheets, much as nowadays nobody seems to be discussing it. House committee, which carried out separate inquiries into the Karamoja Iron Sheets scandal, yesterday presented its report to Parliament, recommending the trial of only 3 out of 15 ministers, excusing other top officials named in the scam from prosecution. The Committee on Presidential Affairs was set up in February at the direction of Speaker Anita Mong, who is herself alleged to have unlawfully received 500 iron sheets. It was recommended that Ms. Mong, who replaced what she took in April following a presidential direction, should say sorry to the people of Karamoja and Uganda and return the roofing materials intended for reformed warriors and vulnerable people in Karamoja. These are not my recommendations, they are from the committee formed by Speaker. However, lawyers who spoke to the Daily Monitor said that these recommendations do not, shield implicated officials from criminal liability. And so, quoting from the lawyer, he says that if the DPP, that is Director of Public Prosecution, has evidence against anybody, she's independent in her operations. Ogalo's comments reflects the views of President Museveni, who months ago indicated that Parliament had no business inquiring into a criminal matter already under what we call police investigation. He also promised to take political action against his ministers named in the scandal. But the DPP and police are preparing to prosecute an as yet unknown number of ministers, MPs and officials for what President Museveni has denounced as political corruption, theft and the undermining of national security right there. And so other top leaders who got off lightly in the report include Vice President Jessica Lupo, Prime Minister Robin Nabanja, First Deputy Prime Minister Rebecca Kadaga, and Finance Minister Matia Kasaija. The other excused from prosecution are Government Chief Whip Hamson, that is Dennis Obua, Ministers of Fred Bino, Agriculture, Rukia Nakadama, the Third Deputy Prime Minister Rose Akello, Lily Ethics and Integrity, and Jessica Dushi for Education right there. And so the committee chair, Jessica Babiko, presented a report which says Minister for Karamoja Affairs, Mary Goreti Kitutu, and our junior Agnes Anandutu be tried for corruption, causing loss of public property and abuse of office. Also recommended for trial is Junior Minister for Finance Planning, Amos Lugolobi, and Ms. Jem Abaho, a Senior Assistant Secretary and Personal Assistant to that is Kitutu. And all those named for prosecution were arrested, charged with conspiracy to commit a felony and dealing with suspected property right there last month. So they spent days on remand in Lozera prison, currently out on bail. How many chicken thieves do we have in these government prisons? Good thieves. But they continue to dig people's garden and they're on trial. They have been charged. And so these ones, they're out there driving luxurious cars. And so in Uganda, position matters. Who are you? Let's go for a break. We shall be coming back and diving into what we have in the New Vision before we get into what is happening in the world of sports. My name is Denis Oringi and this is Kokoliriko Live. I do not know who am I in this country, Uganda. I'm just Denis Oringi. Good morning.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
Get more for less on Star Times this Easter season. Cartoon channel for best children entertainment. New global series. Local drama on Makula TV and football all around the world. Simply make weekly or monthly subscription and enjoy upgrade to the next bouquet. For classic or super bouquet customers, subscribe for a month and enjoy 5 days extra. Family time with Star Times. Star Times is regulated by UCC.
The Ministry of Health will conduct yellow fever preventive mass vaccination campaign for all persons aged 9 months up to 60 years. These people should have never been vaccinated against yellow fever. The yellow fever campaign will be conducted in phases, with the first phase covering districts in the regions of Arua, Gulu, Lira, Kabare, Kabarore, and Hoima. The campaign will begin on the 9th of June and end on the 13th of June 2023 and will be conducted in all government health facilities and outreach posts. All parents and caregivers are requested to take their children aged 9 months to the nearest health facility and outreach posts to get vaccinated against yellow fever disease. All adults aged up to 60 years but have never been vaccinated should go to health facilities and vaccination outreach posts to get vaccinated against yellow fever. Ministry of Health calls upon everybody to report any person who presents with signs and symptoms such as yellowing of eyes, fever, headache, muscle pain, feeling of vomiting or nausea, vomiting, and general body weakness or fatigue to the nearest health facility or health worker immediately for medical attention. This could be yellow fever. Yellow fever vaccine is a single dose given once in a lifetime. The yellow fever vaccine is safe, effective, and free. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Health with support from Gavi and partners.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
You're still watching West Nile Television, Kokoliriko Show. It's a show that comes your way every Monday through Friday, and today happened to be Thursday, 25th of May, 2023. 24 minutes to the top of the hour of 9 a.m. right on West Nile Television. Let's get to the Neo Vision, and we see what are some of the stories making headlines in the Neo Vision this morning. You have to know that today we say goodbye to a dear friend who leaves us all her greatest work, her music, all Our heartfelt compassion goes out to her family. Reads in part on the 8-time Grammy winner after her death at 85, right there. And so we are talking about rock legend Tina Turner, the growling songstress who electrified audiences for decades, died Wednesday at the age of 85 after a long illness, is what you need to know right there. So it is with the great sadness that we announce the passing of Tina Turner. Read a statement on the official Instagram page of the 8-time Grammy winner. With her music and her boundless passion for life, she chanted millions of fans around the world and inspired the stars of tomorrow. Today we say goodbye to a dear friend who leaves us all her greatest work. Her music, all her heartfelt compassion goes out to her family. Tina, we will miss you dearly. And so that is for the rock star. That is the Tina Turner right there. And so for those who love music, you can really get to play her song and listen, and also watch some of her videos. And there she is. And so that is the person we're talking about here. She's called Tina Turner right there. So she has died at 83, and so may her soul rest in eternal peace. Those are people who made us love music as well. When you're tired and you want to rest, you just have such music played right there for you. And so there she is. That is Tina Turner. So Turner first encountered fame more than 6 decades ago with husband Ike Turner. The pair recorded a number of hits together throughout the 1960s and 1970s in a musical partnership in which she was clearly the more talented. After their troubled and violent marriage collapsed, she fled in 1976. Mid-tour, Tina Turner forged a wildly successful solo career. The following decades gifted the world instantly recognizable hits like What's Love Got to Do with It, Private Dancer, and anthemic The Best. And so Turner's We Don't Need Another Hero featured on the soundtrack to Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome, the 1985 post-apocalyptic thriller starring Mel Gibson. A decade later, she oozed her way through. That is golden age, joining the select ranks of artists who have sung on the James Bond franchise. Reaction to her death was swift and came from across the spectrum right there. And so may her soul rest in eternal peace. I think after my show, I need to sit down and enjoy some of her songs right there. And so that is what we can tell you in regards to the death of Tina Turner right there. All right, let's get to more stories. The national census to kick off August 25th is also another news that you need to know here, that the government has announced that the national population and housing census exercise will take place on August 25th this year and is to last 10 days. Oh, money is coming, money is coming. Should I get this money? No, I already have something that I'm doing. And so I leave this to those who have just newly graduated and those who have just completed their A-level and O-level to be enumerators right there. I think my producer can also get this money, comes, does morning show, and then he goes and makes some money from this national census. This was revealed by the State Minister for Finance and Planning, Amos Lugolobi, at a press conference held at the office of the President in Kampala on Wednesday, May 24th. And so he says here that Lugolobi informed the media that the important feature of the national census exercise is that it will use digital technology with real-time data transmission from enumerators to parish supervisors in the Uganda Bureaus of Statistics Data Center for immediate processing. This will reduce the time taken to publish preliminary results to within 2 months after the end of the enumeration exercise. And so he said the pre-census activities will require a budget to the tune of 194.6 billion, and President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni is expected to launch the census during the first week of July right there for you. And so he said the money is urgently needed to purchase 120,000 tablets, development of the enumeration area maps, and procurement and set up a data processing center fully equipped with the storage and processing servers, networks, computers, and related accessories, requirement of project and field staff, among others. It is not going to be like it was in the past, where you carry very long big books and you move with it from one household to the other. I don't want to experience such kind of job again. You carry a big book and with the pencil No, come to this person's home and say, this is the home of Oringi Denis. How many children do you have? 2. What is the name of your wife? Do you have a radio? No. Do you have a television? No. Do you have telephone? No. So these are answers that you will be able to get from Ugandans, and this will inform planning in this country. Remember, currently we are using the Uganda's population that was taken in 2014, and so this time around, if we have the census, this will really serve a very good deal in as far as planning is concerned to our country, Uganda. So Uganda last held its census exercise in 2013, and 42 million people were then the declared population. And so the UBRO's Executive Director, Chris Mukiza, said the census exercise shall provide crucial statistical data and information required in the implementation of the parish development model and measurement of the National Development Plan 3 outcomes, and inform the development of the NDP for right there. Mukiza said the enumeration would cover households and persons who will have stayed in the country on the census night of August 24th and 25th right there. So during the press conference, the National Census Council was launched by the third Deputy Prime Minister Rukia Nakadama, who represented the Prime Minister Robin Nabanja. Nabanja rallied Ugandans to embrace the census exercise, saying the country will reap accrued benefits from that. And so Nakadama appealed to the Ministry of Finance to avail the money needed to finance the census exercise, as the remaining period is short, so as to avoid postponing it. So in attendance was State Minister for Defense Jacob Obotobot and State Minister for the Elderly Dominic Agidutu Mafabi, among others. And so that is something that you need to know in regards to the Ugandan census that has been that is going to take place on 25th of August this particular year. Attorney General denies Besigye Tosha allegation is also another story that you need to know here, that Besigye, while appearing before a team from Uganda Human Rights Commission, said he was tortured by police during numerous arrests in his political activism. The Attorney General has denied accusations of torture against former Forum for Democratic Change presidential candidate, and that is Dr. Kiza Besigye right there for you. And so that is the story that you can really get also in the New Vision for today. And also, dear viewer, you need to know that Matters Day government deploys 250 health workers at Namugongo ahead of Matters Day. That is going to be on 3rd of June is also what you need to know. And then government declines request to take Ugandans to work in Ukraine. Why are they declining to this request to take Ugandans to work in Ukraine if Ugandans are being taken to work in other countries? Let's get more in this story. We rejected the request to take our people to Ukraine. This area is not just about labor but a security matter, she said during Parliament's plenary session on Wednesday yesterday. Who said this? The Minister of Gender, Labour and Social Development, Betty Amongi, said that government turned down a request by one of the labor export companies to recruit Ugandans to go and work in war-torn Ukraine. We rejected the request to take our people to Ukraine. This area is not just about labor but a security matter, she said during a Parliament's plenary session on Wednesday. She, however, did not divulge details of the company and the work Ugandans were going to be recruited for. Are they going to be soldiers in Ukraine? And so she never gave enough detail about this. And so Amongi was defending the Employment Amendment Number 2 Bill 2022 that provides for, among other things, recruitment agencies to streamline the process of recruitment of employees to employment abroad. She added that Uganda has in the recent past witnessed an increase in the number of Ugandans seeking employment abroad and migrants coming in for employment. And so, however, she said these areas have remained inadequately regulated and have not been reformed despite the inadequacy. Russia invaded neighboring Ukraine on February 24th, 2022, sparking the worst conflict on the European continent since World War II. This forced Ukrainian President Zelensky to impose martial law, preventing men of fighting age from leaving the country is also another story right there. Dear viewer, let's go for a break, and when we come back, we shall be diving into what we have in the sports this morning, as I will be giving you sport highlights from different parts of this country and what is happening on the international scene. Good morning.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
more for less on Star Times this Easter season. Cartoon Channel for Best Children Entertainment. New global series. Local drama on Makula TV and football all around the world. Simply make weekly or monthly subscription and enjoy upgrade to the next bouquet. For classic or super bouquet customers, subscribe for a month and enjoy 5 days extra. Family time with Star Times. Star Times is regulated by UCC.
The Ministry of Health will conduct yellow fever preventive mass vaccination campaign for all persons aged 9 months up to 60 years. These people should have never been vaccinated against yellow fever. The yellow fever campaign will be conducted in phases, with the first phase covering districts in the regions of Arua, Gulu, Lira, Kabare, Kabarore, and Hoima. The campaign will begin on the 9th of June and end on the 13th of June 2023 and will be conducted in all government health facilities and outreach posts. All parents and caregivers are requested to take their children aged 9 months to the nearest health facility and outreach posts to get vaccinated against yellow fever disease. All adults aged up to 60 years but have never been vaccinated should go to health facilities and vaccination outreach posts to get vaccinated against yellow fever. Ministry of Health calls upon everybody to report any person who presents with signs and symptoms such as yellowing of eyes, fever, headache, muscle pain, feeling of vomiting or nausea, vomiting, and general body weakness or fatigue to the nearest health facility or health worker immediately for medical attention. This could be yellow fever. Yellow fever vaccine is a single dose given once in a lifetime. The yellow fever vaccine is safe, effective, and free. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Health with support from Gavi and partners.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
You're still watching Western Television, and this is Kokoliriko live on Western Television right here. Let's get to what we have in sports. You have to know here in Western, the 5th division games ended yesterday, and the 4th division, Arua City, has got 2 games at hand. Yesterday, there were games that were played right here in the city between St. Leo and Tiger Stars. St. Leo was able to beat Tiger Stars 3 goals to 1. Meanwhile, Leah City took on Arua Soccer Academy, and the game ended 2-2, and so there are 2 games that are remaining in this. That is the 4th division for Arua City, DFL. And so that is something that you need to know in regards to local football here in Arua City. So don't be surprised when you see people playing in any of the football pitches that we do have here in the city. But away from that, let's have more in the world of sports this morning. Let's start from the Soccer Club Villa's title to lose. You have to know that a decisive step to win the this season's Star Times Uganda Premier League has finally been taken on the penultimate day of the season. It is Soccer Club Villa who showed intent and will head into the final round of fixtures on Saturday as favourites to clinch the title after gaining a 2-point advantage over rivals Vipers and KCCA, who flattered in Ginger on Tuesday. The Jogos were 1-0 winners over Black Powers at Iwankulukugu as Vipers salvaged 1-1 draw at Bull, while KCCA played out a goalless draw right there. And so I think for those who would love to really follow Star Times Uganda Premier League, you have to know that Soccer Club Villa seems to be doing well, and the title might be able to go to them right there. And so that is something that you need to know. Also, you have to know that Uganda to host women's T20 World Cup qualifiers in December. We are talking about cricket here, and so Uganda seems to be doing well when it comes to cricket game that is being played. And in West Nile here, we only see the Indians playing this game here in Arua. They like playing it at Heruba Primary School playground, and so you can also join for the cricket lovers. You can also join them. But for the women, Uganda Uganda is to host women T20 World Cup, qualifiers in December. And so the final leg of the women's qualifier for the 2024 Women's T20 World Cup will be hosted by Uganda from December 7th to 18th, 2023. The tournament will feature 8 teams in Zimbabwe, Rwanda, Tanzania, Nigeria, Namibia, and host Uganda, as well as 2 teams from the Division 2 qualifiers E that will be played in Botswana in October. So the top 2 sides from the African regional qualifiers will qualify for the global qualifiers to represent the continent in the past. Only 1 team has been qualifying out of Africa, but now at least 2 sides will have the chance to represent Africa at the global qualifiers right there. Away from that, let's get to that is what is happening in Europe in the world of football this morning. You have to know that the Brighton and Hove Albion secure Europa League spot with the draw against Manchester City is also another news that you need to know here this morning, that Brighton and Hove Albion have secured a position in the 2023-2024 Europa League group stage, courtesy of 1-1 draw with the Manchester City in Premier League on Wednesday night. The Seagulls entered the match knowing that a point would guarantee 6th position in the Premier League table and a spot in next season's Europa League. Man City made the breakthrough in the 25th minute through Phil Foden, but Julio Enciso Stunner in the later stages of the first period secured a share of the spoils for the home side at the Amex. All right, today you have to know that it's going to be a very big match that will be taking place between Manchester United and Chelsea. And so what do you need to know about this particular game? Unfortunately, Manchester United is playing a team that is not apparently doing well, that is in Premier League. Remember, Manchester United is sitting 4th in the log and Chelsea is sitting 12th in the log. And so for those who would be placing their stake, I have to tell you that if you give it to Chelsea or you give it to Manchester United, all will work, because Chelsea will also love to see how they can really move upward, and Manchester United will also love to see how they can really beat Newcastle in as far as table standing is concerned. Currently, as I do talk, Newcastle has 70 points and Manchester United has 60 points. So if Manchester United wins today's game, that means that they will be able to climb above Newcastle in as far as table standing for Premier League is concerned. And so Chelsea also is looking forward to see how they can also climb to above Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace currently sits 11 and Chelsea sits at 12. And so with the 43 points, that is for Chelsea, and 44 points for Crystal Palace. If Chelsea makes it through, they will be able to climb above, that is Crystal Palace, meaning that they will be having around 46 points and Crystal Palace will be having only 44 points. And so we are looking forward to seeing this particular game that will be played today, and the game is going to be played that is at exactly 8 p.m. for you. And so you need to know that 8 p.m. exactly, Manchester United will be taking on Chelsea in Premier League. And so let us stand up in big numbers to watch this game, and then you wait to know what will be happening. Team news: Manchester United versus Chelsea, injury, suspension on list. The predicted first 11. Allow me to tell you here that Manchester United can confirm Champions League football for the 2023 and 2024 when they welcome Chelsea to Old Trafford for their, that is the penultimate Premier League game of the season on Thursday. The 4th place Red Devils simply need to avoid defeat to confirm a top 4 finish thanks to last weekend's 1-goal win at Bournemouth, while Chelsea remain in 12th following 1-goal loss to Manchester City. And here's I have to tell you that the team news for both clubs is that the players that we have out, that they will not be able to play for Manchester United. We have Lisandro Martinez, he has a problem with his foot. Tom Hatton have a problem with his ankle. We have Donny van de Beek has a problem with his knee. Marshall Sabitzer has a problem with his knee, and then Phil Jones has a problem with his knee. Doubtful Marcus Rashford, we are still doubting. He might come or he might not come, but he might not be able to play because of illness right there. And so predicted first 11 that we have for Manchester United, we have De Gea, we have Van Bissaka, Varane, Lindelof, Shaw, Casemiro, Eriksen, Anthony, Fernandes, Sancho, and Rashford. And so these are the members who will be starting the game according to the predicted one. And so we are yet to confirm, and this will be confirmed towards the start of the game right there. Meanwhile, for Chelsea, the players that are out, we have the Benoit, who has a groin. We have Mason Mount has a pelvic problem. Ben Chilwell has thigh problem. Then Amado Broja has knee problem. Then N'Golo Kante has groin. Marc Cucurella has thigh problem. Marcus Bentinelli has unspecified, and so this is we do not know where the problem is exactly. Reece James has thigh problem. Mateo Kovacic has and it is unspecified right there. So doubtful is done, and so the starting first 11, we have Kappa at the goal post, and then Shaloba, Silva, Fofana, Zipulclater, Fernandes, Loftus-Cheek, Hall, Gallagher, Havertz, and then also Sterling. And so these are the players who will be starting for Chelsea right today. And so you have to know that for those who would love to play the game the other way, you have a long way to determine which one especially you are going with. And so that's something that you need to know in the world of sports in Europe. So if somebody wants me to tell them what we have in transfer this morning, I have to tell you that Bayern Munich wants Alvarez and Rabiot, and then Crystal Palace confirms Mili Vukovic, MacArthur exits, and then a Spa to enter the race for, that is Santiago Gimenez, that is Inter Milan to move for, that is Franzi Kessie, and then Manchester United to move quickly for Kane. These are some of the transfer news that I can really let you know this morning in regards to the European football that we are talking about here this morning. Dear viewer, thank you very much. 1 minute to the top of the hour of 9 a.m. right on Western Television. My name is Denis Oringi. I do appreciate you very much for catching the show live, always on Western Television from the hour of 7 a.m. up to this particular time that I'm getting out of the studio. It's not easy to manage all these hours, but I thank God for giving me the wisdom and the energy to drive you till this particular time. Let's continue to follow the programs on Western Television. Up next is Business Bank on Western Television with Maurice Eriko, and other programs will be following soon. And do not forget that the Northern Request Hour will be coming your way as well, and also the Street Talk with MC Sarge. And do not forget that exactly that is 2 to 3. The Whistle Time crew will be bouncing back in the studio to give you analysis of what is happening in the world of sports. I have been able to do for you the highlights, and for them they will be coming with the full details and analysis that you get to understand. I know people are interested to understand how the game between Manchester United and Chelsea will be going down right there at that is Old Trafford, because the game will be at the home of Manchester United right there. And so for Owen together with Susie and also Benson, they will be making the analysis right there, plus a guest that they might also be able to bring on board for the Whistle Time program that will be at exactly 2 to 3, and then 3 to that is 5. We shall be able to have some movie playing for you, and then 5 exactly that is Asa the Big Brother together with Fifi Afi, DJ Mosh. They will be mixing it down for you right there in the program, the Chuku Chuku, that comes away every Monday through Friday. And do not forget that at exactly 7 p.m. I will be bouncing back with the Nilecast, where we shall be able to bring for you some of the news that are making rounds in our country, Uganda, right here on Western Television. After that, we give you a program that takes you till the next day, more especially for those who will be working the night. We cater for you as well. Thank you very much. Good morning. Have the best of your time.